Hello everyone, my name is Renee and today I am here with my group mates Natalia and Jerry, and we will be discussing one of the most intangible but important aspects of organizational communication, which is cultural perspective. Now when we say cultural perspective, we don't mean the actual culture which is present in the diversity of race, sex, or ability within a company. Rather, we are talking about the culture that the company embodies and exudes for itself, its employees, and the clientele it serves to best ensure effective communication, adhering to company beliefs and values. That being said, the three standpoints of cultural perspective are artifacts, values, and basic assumptions. And those help build out an effective cultural perspective for a company to follow. For example, you may have heard some of your friends who have changed careers talk about a culture shift at their new job. Say you went from working at Audi to Whataburger or vice versa, you would really feel that difference in expectations and beliefs that is upheld within the workplace, I assume, and it would be quite different from one to another. Therefore, what you're experiencing is a change in the cultural perspective of your organization. Now, to expand a little bit on the first part of our cultural perspective, I made an inference towards my own job. I work for a high-end design company. We work with clientele in the real estate industry to design, stage, and sell their homes, often valued at over $1 million. Our values are obviously kindness, customer service, but also this sleek, sophisticated, and on-trend look to make us look like we are up on the kind of what is happening here and now, and that we have the best sense in the market. So on the first day, everyone gets an iPad and a MacBook to present to our clients to create uniform sleekness, and we're allowed to add trendy accessories to our business wardrobe like this hat when meeting with clients, just to appear like we are current with the times and adhering to our company culture. So today, my team and I set out to explain exactly how cultural perspective manifests itself in the workplace, how it functions in a specific professional context, and as well how it can be corrected when it goes too far. So stay tuned for some awesome content on that, and I will be back later to explain how to correct company culture.
In order to demonstrate the cultural perspective in an organization, we have provided this short instructional video to better explain how cultural perspective works in a professional setting. Keep in mind the three items which define culture in the workplace: artifacts, basic assumptions, and values.
A recent college grad named Brad has just landed his dream job at the ever-intuitive tech company Google. On the first day on the job, Brad notices there are three interdependent levels that provide insight into how culture works in an organization. The first is artifacts. Artifacts are things or behaviors that are unique to an organization. Artifacts tell us something about an organization's cultural values and practices. At Google, Brad notices the office space looks like a workplace set in the future, with beanbag chairs, a slide, high-tech computers, and minimalistic architecture. Everyone is using Google smartphones and uses an electric scooter on the campus. All of these artifacts serve as symbols to represent Google's laid-back and creative culture. All of the sleek designs and cool office spaces reflect the billion-dollar search engine which millions of people use every day. Next is values. Values are what drives an organization to success. It may be in the form of a doctrine or mission statement, but in this case, Brad has Google's values ingrained in his mind from the 6-hour intern orientation. Google's values read, to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful, which shows the direction of the company goals and instills a consumer-driven culture at Google. Next is basic assumptions. Basic assumptions are at the core of what people believe in an organization. Here at Google, every employee greets Brad as if they are friends. Everyone treats one another with respect and encourages new ideas. These basic assumptions of Google's employees mean that everyone is inclusive and respectful. Because of Google's close relationship with customers, identifiable values, and solid communication networks, it has become a healthy organization, meaning Brad finally has found a career right for him. As great as an organization using cultural perspective can be, some workplaces with strong cultures can be toxic, and in some cases, create a hostile work environment. In this next clip, take a look at some examples of how cultural perspective in the workplace can be used the wrong way.
So by now, we all know how important cultural perspective is in a workplace. However, it can cause a whole lot of difficulties, especially in employee hiring and retainment. For example, an employee can feel stifled or uncomfortable if a company's cultural perspective doesn't match them or is too intense. Again, a company may feel like an employee is also not meeting its cultural perspective and may let them go on a basis of simply them not meeting the standard, which is drastically unfair. Now, I recently read a book by Terry O'Reilly called Under the Influence that stated that companies such as Disney and Zappos had an awesome cultural perspective that built up on hiring people around general capabilities such as friendliness, openness, and responsibility. After that, they simply instilled their company culture in these employees and they were good to go and made an excellent contribution to the overall communication of the workforce.
All organizations differ by having their own essence, their own identity, and what makes them different and stand out from each other, which is the culture of each organization. By getting to know any organization or company more thoroughly, we can realize that beyond being differentiated by race, gender, or some other things, they can be differentiated because each organization has its own unique identity, its own distinct ways of doing things, and its own ways of performing culture, which sometimes could be a bit complicated and unstable. In order to better understand how cultural perspective works in the workplace, we can read books, watch movies, or series, depending on our interest or our mood. Some that I personally recommend and I really like, it's a movie called Outsourced and a show in Netflix called Emily in Paris. So depending on your mood, you can pick one of those and learn more about the topic.